Titan has come out with earnings and, well, a steady quarter, and which was evident in the kind of reactions that we saw from investors coming in through. But to talk us through how the quarter's gone by and what we can expect going forward, I'm in conversation with Mr. Venkataraman, who heads Titan at this point in time. Mr. Venkataraman, good morning and thanks for taking the time out. Let me start by asking you about the jewelry segment. While you guys have mentioned in your quarterly update as well as the press release that we've seen the wedding season, the festive season come in aid of, the jewelry sales. But if we were just to talk about this particular quarter in Q4, how are things panning out for this particular segment, as well as I reckon that you guys will continue to be holding on to the guidance of 11 to 13% for this half.
Yeah, quarter three was a very good quarter for the jewelry business. The retail sales of Tanishq grew around 15% in the quarter, and my apologies, I have a bad cough. And it is our assessment that our performance is significantly better than most of the other players in the jewelry business, jewelry industry, and therefore helping us continuing the momentum in our market share gain. Our H2 outlook that we had shared in the last quarter continues to hold, like you said, between 11 and 13%.
The next question then is a little bit of an idea on the Golden Harvest scheme, as well as the collections that we may be looking forward to, perhaps a continuation of the collections that we saw in the Q3 that may go into Q4 and that may aid and give us a better idea of how jewelry can turn out.
Actually, the biggest activity for jewelry in quarter four is the diamond jewelry activation, which is currently on. And we typically depend on it, and a lot of customers wait for it as well. We depend on it for the quarter four performance and growth. And there is no major collection launch planned in quarter four, but will follow in April, just before Akshaya Tritiya, and when the new year begins.
Okay.
Golden Harvest is more a steady enabler of the business, and there is nothing particular to comment on it for Q4.
All right. So what I did notice was a very sharp drop in your raw materials costs. Which is, of course, a positive. But that said, your gross margin still did come off on a year-on-year basis. So can you explain how things are panning out when it comes to inputs going in and what we can expect going forward as well?
Actually, the gross margin of the jewelry business as well as the gross margin of the company have been holding steady from a 9-month point of view compared to last year. Sometimes, quarter on quarter, there are changes because the entire accounting of gold is a complex, aspect, and you gain in some quarter, and the hedging corrections come and make up for it in the next quarter, and so on and so forth. But from a 9-month point of view, the GC margins for each business as well as for the company as a whole are holding, and nothing, to report or comment on it for quarter four.
Okay, so when it comes to sentiment on ground, of course, we did see the wedding season, the festive season come in aid of Titan. But the real question is, considering the gold prices and where they are, do you think there's a possibility that demand for jewelry in general overall may just fall to a certain extent over the coming couple of quarters, unless and until, of course, we see a correction in gold prices?
Yeah, it is very possible, because even in the 9 months that have passed, the sentiment hasn't been particularly good. It's because of our brand strength, our on-ground asset strength, as well as our execution of all the strategies, which has helped us to buck the general consumption challenge that we are facing. It's going to continue for the next few quarters. We are certainly bracing ourselves for it. The only positive way to look at it is that we are less than 10%, 6-7% of the entire jewelry industry, and therefore, even if the 100 becomes 95, there is still some 88 in the industry for us to get our 1 or 2 that we need extra from. That's the manner in which we look at in the jewelry business. That's the manner in which we look at in our eyewear business, where our shares are very low. Okay. But to comment specifically on your point, yes, sentiments are a little down, and we expect them to be continuing for a while now.
All right, sir. So then I want to move on to watches. A quick question here is that when it comes to the sentiment, how is the mass segment doing as against the premium segment? That's one thing. And what's the traction that you are witnessing when it comes to your smartwatches?
The Titan brand has done exceedingly well in the 9 months, and the premium side of the Titan brand has done even better. For example, the World of Titan, which represents the brand Titan, grew 11% in Q3, which is a handsome growth, and the 10,000 plus collections and 10,000 plus segment outstripped that 11% at close to double that growth. So therefore, we are seeing a significant premiumization opportunity, and therefore we'll continue to press the button on that in the watch business.
Sure, sir. And a final question then is to do with the watches and the growth trajectory going forward. And I can understand that weak demand sentiment has led to a year-on-year flattish movement, if not marginal drop. What's the way forward from here on? Do you think we could see some challenges with respect to demand in watches even in the next couple of quarters?
Actually, if you look at the 9-month growth of watches, it's a different picture from what you see for Q3. And the reason for that is that we end up having adjustments, particularly in the primary sales channels like the trade, where the purchases of the channels shift the last month end of that quarter and so on and so forth. So if you look at the 9 months performance of watch business is much better than the 3-month Q3 performance, and the retail performance, which finally is the barometer from a consistent health point of view, is 3 months as well as 9 months. In the World of Titan, in the large format stores like Shoppers, in Helios, which is our premium watch brand channel, all are positive. So the watch business has delivered a growth YOY 9 months. And we expect to continue to push that growth going forward as well.
All right, fair enough, Mr. Venkataraman. Thank you so much for joining us and taking us through the quarter. Wish you the best.
Thank you very much.